You've been fasting for 16 hours. Your stomach is growling, your breath is strong, you're cold, and you're wondering, am I cleaning myself from the inside? Or am I torturing myself for nothing? Here's the truth. A lot of people fast without knowing if their autophagy is active. They follow a plan, often a pre-made one, but they don't know how to read their body's signals. Today, we're going to stop guessing. I'm going to show you 5 signs your body sends when autophagy is active in your body. The last sign is the most objective, with exact numbers. Quick reminder, autophagy is the cleaning system for your 37 trillion cells. When it's active, your body recycles its waste, removes toxins, and protects you against many chronic diseases. The scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize in 2016 for mapping this mechanism. Since then, hundreds of studies link it to longevity, cancer prevention, and brain protection. But how do you know if your body is activating it right now? You can't see it under a microscope, but your body sends you signals, clues, coded messages, and that's exactly what we're going to decode together. If this topic interests you, leave a like and subscribe. Let's go. Let's start with sign number 1, measurable ketosis. The first sign, and probably the most reliable one you can check at home, is entering ketosis. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with autophagy? Well, listen closely. Imagine 2 roommates, ketosis and autophagy. They're not identical, but they often show up together, because they're triggered by the same thing, a lack of available energy, which is what's happening in your body. After 12 to 24 hours of fasting or greatly reducing carbs, your sugar stores, which is glycogen, are used up. Step 1. Your liver switches to using your fats and makes ketone bodies, beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate, acetone. That's ketosis. Step 2. Your cells, without glucose, activate their internal recycling system to make energy, and that's autophagy. Research published in 2018 in Cell Metabolism shows that increased ketones directly stimulate the proteins that trigger autophagy through the AMPK pathway. In plain English, more ketones, more cellular cleaning. And if you want exact numbers, there are devices to measure your ketones in your blood or breath. Blood ketone meter, urine strips, or a breath analyzer. But don't worry. Even without a device, the next signs will confirm that you're well on your way. So there you have it. Ketosis is the first reliable sign that your body has switched over. But be careful. It's just a trigger. Autophagy itself comes with a slight delay. And speaking of which, your body sends you another, even clearer signal that you can sense without any device. Your breath. Sign number 2, distinctive breath and mouth changes. You've probably noticed this one if you fast regularly. Your breath becomes different. Some say metallic, others fruity. Sometimes even like nail polish remover. Not very glamorous, I'll admit. But actually, it's a great sign. Here's what's happening in your body. When autophagy kicks in, your cells rapidly recycle proteins, fats, and worn-out parts. This cellular cleanup produces byproducts, including acetone. And acetone is a volatile ketone body that escapes through your lungs. In other words, your breath becomes a direct reflection of the internal cleansing. A study published in 2019 in Scientific Reports showed that the more acetone in your breath, the more autophagy markers increase in your blood. A clear connection. Other mouth clues? Coated tongue, a whitish or yellowish film, a sign that detox is happening. Drier mouth, less saliva, so odors are more concentrated. Persistent metallic taste, linked to ketosis and changes in your mouth's bacteria. How should you interpret this? It's not a bad breath contest. If you're in public, a sugar-free gum or candy is enough. But don't try to completely hide this sign. It's proof that your cellular machinery is working at full speed. And have you ever noticed this change in breath during a fast? Write yes in the comments. I want to see how many of you have experienced it without knowing it was a sign of autophagy. So if your breath changes, it's not just an annoying detail. It's proof that your body is cleaning itself from the inside. But autophagy doesn't stop there. After a few more hours, it's not just your mouth sending you signals anymore, it's your brain. And this third sign, you'll feel it dramatically. An almost supernatural mental clarity. Sign number 3, mental clarity and stable energy. After 24 to 48 hours of fasting, something amazing happens. Instead of feeling tired, You'll feel an unusual mental clarity, a laser focus, and a calm but steady energy. It seems weird, right? How can I have more energy by eating less? Well, the answer is that autophagy works directly on your brain. Why is this sign linked to autophagy? Ketones are like a superfuel. When you're in ketosis, your brain uses beta-hydroxybutyrate. This fuel produces more energy than glucose and boosts BDNF, a protein that protects your neurons and creates new connections. The result, your brain works more efficiently. Neuronal cleaning by autophagy is fascinating. Your neurons contain damaged mitochondria that create free radicals, which cause that famous brain fog. Autophagy recycles them and replaces them with new mitochondria. The result? Your mind becomes clearer, as if someone cleaned the windows of your brain. Stable blood sugar is also one of the effects. No more sugar roller coasters. Your energy becomes a straight line, with no crashes or slumps. The result? A calm and lasting motivation. So, how do you recognize this sign? You can stay focused on a complex task for 2 to 3 hours. You no longer have that famous afternoon slump. Your thoughts are sharper, as if your brain's resolution has increased. You feel a stable energy, without nervousness like with caffeine. Important to know, this sign rarely appears before 24 hours of fasting for beginners. Your body needs to adapt. The first few times, you might have headaches or temporary fatigue, often linked to hydration and electrolytes. Be patient. This mental clarity is proof that autophagy is cleaning your neurons. This mental clarity is proof that your brain is directly benefiting from cellular house cleaning. But autophagy isn't just for your mind. It also works on your body, and not just in any way. The next sign, you'll see it in the mirror and on the scale. Targeted weight loss that keeps your muscles. Sign number 4. Targeted weight loss and body composition. Let's be frank. Does autophagy make you lose weight? Short answer, yes. But not how you might imagine. Autophagy is not a miracle pill or a magic fat burner. What it does is optimize your body from the inside. When it activates, your body becomes selective. It doesn't randomly destroy your muscles. It prioritizes recycling what is damaged or toxic. Let's see what autophagy targets. Damaged and aggregated proteins. Those that accumulate in certain diseases like Alzheimer's. Dysfunctional fats stored in cells. Worn-out organelles that pollute your cells. The result? You mainly lose visceral fat, the fat that surrounds your organs and is the most dangerous for your health in terms of inflammation and cardiovascular risks. There's scientific proof for this. A 2021 study, published in Nature Metabolism, followed people doing 16.8 intermittent fasting for 5 weeks. Visceral fat decreased by an average of 7%. Lean muscle mass preserved at 98 to 99%. Blood autophagy markers up 30%. In other words, autophagy helps target bad fat while protecting your muscles. How can you recognize this sign in yourself? Don't rely solely on the scale. Use more reliable indicators. Waist circumference, 2 to 3 centimeters less in 4 weeks. That's an excellent sign. Impedance scale. Track the trend of fat and muscle percentage. Your clothes. Pants looser at the waist but not at the thighs. That's a jackpot. Weekly photos. Same position, same lighting. The changes are visible. Important to note, if you're weight training, you can even gain weight while losing fat. Muscle is denser than fat, so if the scale isn't moving but your reflection is changing, rejoice. That's autophagy doing its job. Seeing your waist size decrease without losing muscle is already powerful proof that autophagy is working. But the most objective sign isn't seen in the mirror. It's read in your analyses. Because when autophagy is really working, your biological markers change in a measurable way. And that's our 5th sign. Sign number 5. Improved biological markers. This one is the most objective sign. It's not a feeling, not a reflection in the mirror, but actual measurements, and you can do them at home with a simple glucose meter or a few kits from the pharmacy. Blood sugar, the simplest test. At the start of a fast, your blood sugar might be around 95-105 mg/dL. After 24 hours, it often drops to 80-90 mg/dL. Why? Because autophagy repairs your cells, including damaged insulin receptors. They become more sensitive, so your pancreas doesn't need to send out as much insulin. The result? Sugar stays in your system for less time, and your energy becomes more stable. How to measure? First thing in the morning, before you start fasting. Then the next morning, after 24 hours of fasting. If you go from 100 to 85 mg/dL, bingo. autophagy is happening. Over several weeks, with regular fasting, your average blood sugar, HbA1c, can drop from 5.8–6.0% to 5.4 to 5.6%. A 2022 umbrella review from Aix-Marseille University showed that intermittent fasting reduces fasting blood sugar and HbA1c in obese or type 2 diabetic adults. Blood fats, the triglycerides HDL ratio. At first, this ratio is often around 3. After 24 hours of fasting, it can already drop a little. Why? Because autophagy recycles damaged fats and your liver produces more good cholesterol, HDL. Over several weeks, with regular fasting, this ratio can drop below 2, a sign that your metabolism is cleaner. A pharmacy thesis from the University of Limoges, 2024, showed that intermittent fasting improves lipid profiles and significantly reduces triglycerides. Inflammation, CRP. At the start of a fast, it might be around 2–3 mg/cell. After 24 hours, it already drops a bit. Why? Because autophagy removes damaged cells and reduces waste that fuels inflammation. Over several weeks, CRP can drop to 1 mg/cell or less, proof that your body is in repair mode. Of course, these numbers vary from person to person. Some will see quick improvement, others more gradual. But if your values drop or stabilize, it's a reliable indicator that autophagy is activated. Interaction with the audience. Have you ever tested your blood sugar before and after a fast? Write your results in the comments. I want to see if you're observing the same improvement. Okay, we've covered a lot of information. Let's quickly recap the 5 signs. Measurable ketosis, 0.5 to 3 millimoles per liter of ketones. Changed breath and mouth, acetone, and a coated tongue. Mental clarity, laser focus, and stable energy. Optimized body composition, visceral fat loss, preserved muscles, improved blood markers, insulin, CRP, HbA1c, and so on. Now, some practical tips to maximize these signs. First tip, be patient. Autophagy isn't an on-off switch, it's a gradual process. The first signs, like ketosis or breath, appear in 16 to 24 hours. The deep benefits, like blood markers, take 6 to 12 weeks. Second tip, combine approaches. Intermittent fasting, 16/8, is excellent for starting out. But for stronger signals, consider a 24-hour fast once a week. A low-carb diet, less than 50 grams per day on non-fasting days. Fasted exercise, like walking or light weightlifting. Third tip, hydration and electrolytes. Drink 2 to 3 liters of water daily. Add quality salt, pink or sea salt, magnesium, and potassium. Cramps and headaches often come from electrolyte imbalance, not fasting itself. Fourth tip, listen to your body. If you feel really bad, severe dizziness or persistent nausea, stop. Autophagy should be a health tool, not torture. Some people need to progress slower. Fifth tip, document everything. Keep a journal. Note your fasting hours, your energy level on a scale of 1 to 10, your ketones if you measure, and your subjective observations. After 4 weeks, reread it. Patterns become obvious. There you have it. You now have the 5 concrete signs that autophagy is working in your body. But I want to be clear about something. Information alone changes nothing. What changes everything is action. If this video has brought you value, if you've learned something concrete that you're going to apply, show it. A like helps the algorithm share this content with other people who need it. A subscription ensures you don't miss upcoming videos where I break down the science of metabolism, fasting, and longevity. But most importantly, share this video with that colleague who talks about fasting but doesn't know how to assess their results, with that friend who wants to optimize their health but gets lost in pseudoscience, with your family who deserves to have access to quality scientific information. One last thing before you go. Autophagy is your biological superpower. It's a mechanism that evolved over millions of years to keep you alive during difficult times. But in our modern world of 24/7 food abundance, we've almost forgotten it. We've deactivated this incredible function. By applying what you've learned today, you're turning it back on. You're giving your body back the most powerful tool it has to regenerate, repair, and renew itself.